David Jones and Chief Market Strategist at IG. If there was only one metal that you were going to trade, logically, gold is probably the better market to trade in terms of, it's more closely watched, there's more information out there available, you see more volumes. So I think you'd have to have maybe a more compelling reason why you really saw silver as maybe the more interesting market compared to gold, particularly again in recent months where we have seen the volatility die off in silver. But I'm sure the same fundamentals that apply to gold, it can be translated across to the silver market. I think the gold market, has had its passionate supporters. I think for decades, where they've always felt that gold was undervalued, and for a long time the market was proving them wrong because it kept going down. In the last 10 years, the gold bug's time has come. When we have seen the price of gold go from $250 an ounce in the early 2000s to nearly $2,000 an ounce, in recent times. So I think, but it is one I think where people have all sorts of theories about why gold should be at a certain level, why it should double or treble over the years to come. I would discount some of the more fanatical, over-ambitious predictions for gold. It tends to be people who just think that all world currencies are going to end and we're all going to go back to trading in bars of gold. So I would definitely not get too hung up on some of the more outlandish predictions for the price of gold. But it's a popular market and there's plenty of information out there to try and help you figure out what's going to influence the price. When IG was set up, it was set up by a guy called Stuart Wheeler, and the only price we quoted was the price of gold, and it was set up as a way for his friends to trade the price of gold, and that's where the IG comes from, Investors Gold. Probably not to the same extent as gold. If we looked at maybe something like the euro, there are plenty of people who think that the euro shouldn't be around, isn't going to be around, and again the market has proved them wrong over the last 7 to 8 months with the strength we've seen in the euro. You probably see it more on individual shares, where you have some of these small cap companies, some of these mining companies where people think they're massively overvalued and they're about to strike oil in the Falklands or Cornwall or Scotland, wherever it is. I think that's where we have almost the football supporter mentality sometimes, with some of these smaller companies where people think the market really doesn't recognise their potential. The problem is, the market cannot recognise their potential for an awful long time. So I'd never get too hung up on passionately believing the market's wrong about something.